Hey guys, and welcome to the Gentlemanly Podcast with me, Troy Francis. This is all about how to operate in the savage waters of the modern dating world as a gentleman, with authenticity and style and compassion and empathy, and getting good results as well, of course. I've worked with hundreds of men all over the world and thousands if you count online as well. As a dating coach over the last 10 years, I've created a lot of content on the subject and studied it in depth. So I've got a lot to bring to the party on this, let me tell you. And I wanted to just do a quick one today. A reminder, really, you don't want to be talking to somebody for too long before you meet up with them, okay? So these days, there's this expression, the talking phase, that has come about in modern times, and it refers to, well, I guess from online dating probably primarily. You know, you meet somebody online, you guys are chatting back and forth, and you haven't actually met yet in real life. Now, the whole thing, the whole emphasis as far as dating apps are concerned, and by the way, I'm sort of agnostic on dating apps, really. I don't use them myself. I haven't used them for many years. I prefer to meet people in real life. I think it's better. I think it's more authentic, and that's primarily what I teach. However, you know, if you want to use the dating apps, you can. Although for many men, they don't seem to work very well, depending on where you are. It may be because your profile sucks, because we've seen a lot of male profiles and they absolutely suck. So there might be some stuff that you can do to improve. But nevertheless, the dating apps don't always work particularly well. But anyway, if you are using them and you are getting matches and you're talking to women, the number one goal or the number one aim or strategy or whatever is to get her off the app as soon as you can and onto WhatsApp or some other SMS, you know, just SMS or whatever, and organise a date and take her out for a drink. Okay, the idea is not to be talking to somebody on an app for weeks or even months before you've even met up. It's just completely pointless. You know, you might as well meet up as quickly as you can. Partly because it can be a false dawn anyway. It can be a false promise. You don't know. I mean, it might seem, okay, this person is incredible. We have this amazing vibe. We get on really well. We've got all this stuff in common, and it's really, really amazing. But you don't know until you've actually met her how it's actually going to go down in real life. And the chances are she might look different in real life than how she does online. So that's one thing. There's also just the point of natural vibe and chemistry. And this, by the way, is why in real life meeting is so much better, because you get a very strong sense immediately of the kind of chemistry between the two of you, because you're actually meeting. So if you meet in a coffee shop and you guys are chatting and vibing, you get you already know what the chemistry's like before you've even taken her on that first date. With online, with the best will in the world, you don't. And yes, you could do some video calls and things like that, but it's not the same. You need to be physically in the presence of the person, okay? And you want to do that as quickly as possible. You want to do it as quickly as possible because, for a start, you're wasting your time and you're wasting her time, okay? If you're just sitting there chatting back and forth and nothing's actually happening. That's the first thing. The second thing is the marketplace is very competitive, okay? And there's a good chance that she's talking to other people, and there's a good chance that one of those other people might say, hey, listen, let's meet for drinks, and then suddenly you're out in the cold, okay? So for those reasons alone, you want to be meeting up as quickly as possible. The other thing is that emotion is fleeting, okay? And what she likes about you one day may start to erode or start to dissipate over time, particularly because if the longer you talk and the more that you say on message before having met her and having assessed the chemistry, the more likely you are to say something that's going to mess it up, okay? The more likely you're going to say something that's going to put her off. And the end game of this is not having a nice conversation on the app. The end game of this is getting her on a date so that you can sit down beside her, have a conversation, and see how you guys vibe, okay? See how you get on. Right? And you want to get to that end game, okay? Because with all the will in the world, the chatting on the app is not what you actually want. The chatting on the app is is a precursor to what you actually want, which is to meet her and to see how you guys get on, and then possibly become intimate and, take it from there. It might be fear that's holding you back from taking that action. It might well be fear that's holding you back, because sometimes guys, particularly, you're not getting that many matches, not a lot's happening. Suddenly you start getting attention from this girl, and you're really excited, but you think, oh no, I don't want to mess it up. I can't mess it up. So I'm not going to ask her out, because if I ask her out, then I'm going to stop getting these dopamine feelings that I get when I get her messages or whatever, and I'm going to feel really sad. But the point is, you have to lean into that fear. You have to lean into the possibility that this might not work out and go for it anyway. Because if you don't go for it, then somebody else is going to, and you're going to miss your chance. Or in the end, she's going to get bored and just kind of ghost you. Or she's going to think you're a wuss because you haven't had the nerve to ask her to do something tangible together, which is really your job as the guy. Or you're going to say something that's going to annoy her or give her the ick, as they say, or irritate her, and she's going to ghost you. Okay, so it's in everyone's interests that you keep the conversation prior to meeting as short as possible, and then you propose a date. Okay, and if she says no to that, then see if she offers an alternative. That's the best outcome. She says, I can't do Wednesday, but I can do Thursday. Great. If she doesn't, you can chat a little bit more and then propose another date. And if she seems resistant to coming out and meeting you, then she's probably a time waster, and you should probably move on. Because again, the aim of the game with this stuff is not to be talking to somebody on an app for ad infinitum, until the end of time. The purpose of this is to be physically meeting up with them and seeing how you get on, okay? And that physical meeting is something that just can't be replicated. You can't experience that in any other way. That's just how you don't know what the connection's like until you sit down and you test the connection in real time, in real life, okay? So that would be my advice. And by the way, even if you're meeting people via what you might call cold approach, or you're meeting people in real life, okay, whether that's at a coffee shop, or in the private members club, or in the hotel lobby, or in the bar, or in the nightclub, or whatever, you still want to meet up with them in person as soon as possible. You don't want to let it go for weeks and weeks and weeks just talking on message before you guys meet up, because it's all meaningless. It's all meaningless until you've met up, okay? You need, chemistry is this really intangible thing, but you're not going to know whether you've got it or not until you meet in the flesh. And this is why these long distance kind of relationships that people get into, where they haven't even met and they've been talking for a year and all this kind of stuff, and she lives on the other side of the world, completely ridiculous in my view. I'm not saying it never works out. Probably it does sometimes work out, but it wouldn't be a strategy I would ever advise anybody to undertake. It just seems completely stupid to me. You want to be, because again, momentum and speed is important in these things, right? Emotion is fleeting. You want to capitalize on that positive emotion, right? So if you just met her in the coffee shop and she's all excited and it's gone great and everything else, you want to have a bit of a conversation and say, hey, listen, that was really cool when we met. We should carry this on. I know this really cool place for drinks. Let's go on Thursday, okay? And do that, right? You want to do that. You don't want to be then wasting time, because in the end she might get bored, or she'll just think, oh, this guy, what is this guy? He just wants to be friends with me. He wants to have a pen pal. What's going on here? Okay? Or you say something stupid and it messes it up. So remember, momentum, speed, cut to the chase, get the person out, sit down, have a conversation with them, try and escalate, see what the vibe is like between the two of you. Okay? If it's no good, it's no good. Okay, fine. Well, she wasn't for you. No problem. But you've got to be the one to move it forward, okay? She might do it. She might suggest drinks, but equally she quite possibly won't, because you are the guy, and it's still expected, even in 2025, that the guy's the person who moves things forward. So you need to be the one who does it, get on with it, do it, and move things forward. And if she seems like she doesn't really want to come out and meet you, you're probably dealing with a time waster anyway. So in the end, you want to kind of just let it drop, and focus less on her and more on other people instead. Okay, because the name of the game is meeting in person, not chatting electronically via some weird piece of technology that we call a smartphone. Okay? Anyway, hope that was helpful. Hope that is of some use to you. A little bit of practical advice there. If you want to discuss this further, obviously leave comments below. You can email me, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, with any coaching inquiries, or you can DM me via my socials, which are Instagram or rather Instagram and X at @realtroyfrancis. Drop me a DM on either of those, and we'll speak again very soon. Bye-bye.